Ego speaking.
Yo, Ego, just wanted to say fuck your Blue Lock program and fuck the anime too. Y'all boys became the #1 manga in the world, but guess what? They're gonna start calling y'all Frame Lock now, and you'll come to understand why soon enough. We got all the money in the world to pay animators, but we're keeping that shit for ourselves, nigga. We're not putting no money into your show. You heard that one anime with the horse girls running around a track? We're gonna take all the budget from season 2 and put it into that shit, cause that's what the people want. So fuck Blue Lock, fuck everyone participating in it, fuck that Henri girl that you got on your side, and especially fuck your bowl cut headed ass, long neck ass, need to eat a cheeseburger ass self. Japan national team on top.
Yes, I know the Horse Girl anime's budget does not come from Blue Lock before people start talking about it in the comments, but we might have an issue, a big one. And I don't even know how I wanted to approach this video, because I wouldn't necessarily call this a review, more so of a rant, I guess. Because I mean, we're 3 episodes deep into Blue Lock season 2, and I'm definitely concerned, just because from the shows that I've watched, I can't recall there being a show that I've watched where the first half of the season is like not really up to par in terms of expectations, and the second half of the season just goes fucking bananas. Obviously, we start off episode 25 with this new refined art style. It looks almost fan animation-y. So when I'm looking at these dudes speak as Ego is giving them the rundown on what's going on, I wasn't really thinking too much of it, because I kind of was digging it, I'm not even gonna lie to you. And especially with that beginning sequence with Rin and his brother, that shit was movie quality. And the snow is coming down, and they still had the freeze frame going on, like the little cardboard cutout of Sai like charging at Rin, but you see him hitting a little over. Bye. Almost ended Rin's soccer career right there, and I know this is a dream sequence, but it doesn't matter. That shit was so lethal, it could have bled into the real world. But we see him sprint, and there was like a little bit of motion blur, and it looked very like smooth and fluid. I'm gonna be honest, if everything from episode 1 till 3 was looking like this little scene, I really wouldn't even be complaining as much as I'm about to, because I felt like it was a good mix between the PowerPoint presentation and actual movement. Like, looking at my reaction to episode 3, I was excited when I got 2 seconds of movement from niggas. Like, I was about to start crying real tears, and I was really like jubilant for it, which shouldn't be the case. I don't feel like that should be the case for a sports anime. But no, so as I was saying, going back to Ego's meeting with everyone, obviously we're not playing sports yet, but we're seeing like everyone's reintroduction, and it's looking clean. Like, I thought it was looking clean, and I thought the lighting was good. We got obtuse angle talking his shit, and he's apparently a powerhouse. I didn't expect him to be as involved as he is. Shido, obviously, he's been talking freaky to these first couple episodes, and I'm sure the shit gets even more horny, so I'm excited to see him exploding everywhere, and that's not from my mouth, he said that. And we also have Grass Patch. The introduction to everyone was great, and learning the whole team formation thing was really cool. Whole draft process, Rayov's going with Nagi, Isagi's going with Rin, cool. But like, I think the art style has definitely improved from season 1. But like, even when they showed Isagi farting all over the place, that shit looked sharp, and the flames looked more refined, and everything, like, it looked good. But then we got to the match. Alright, this match has started. Let's get this shit popping. I'm so ready to lock in. First, I need to be an appealing option, and Ego said to take over, and that the top 2 players on the team are not our friends. Weird question to self though, why is my jersey moving but my body isn't? And no, this is a problem, and I'm seeing it now, because for these types of videos, right, where I'm just talking, you typically would have to cut it in a way to avoid copyright. I feel like I could deadass play these episodes straight through without getting copyright claimed, just because there's no movement going on. Because seeing the kickoff, we saw that in the trailer, and it's the kickoff, right? You expect a little like slow-mo cam, whatever, not a big deal. I wasn't tweaking. And look at this nigga in the back. He looks like he's from FIFA 07, but I'm not talking about Isagi's brother right now. It's okay. I'm gonna be real to the animators. I'm not trying to take away from their craft, but adding anime lines to the side does not make the character move. As much as we all would want it to, really. Like, I really would love these characters to like strut their shit. Let me see some fucking femurs moving back and forth. But adding anime lines to every scene is just not gonna like produce that effect. But no, so I understood why there were some freeze frames, just because Isagi was analyzing the field. The thing that aggravates me is when they are frozen in time, but it's either their clothes are moving, or like Isagi blinks and looks the opposite direction as everyone is so frozen in time. Like, I just don't, like, it just looks so odd. It's like they got caught in Dio's stand like Jotaro did and had that like 1 second of movement. But I wasn't fully tweaking yet, because we were getting some ball movement, we were getting some running on the field, and the CGI was a major improvement from season 1. I will say that, and I did enjoy it. But see, what I didn't enjoy from the CGI aspect, and I see them doing this a lot, is like with Shido's nasty ass backwards heel shot, whatever the fuck he was doing, and he took that first step, them making his foot CGI here. And I feel like I'm nitpicking, but at the same time I'm not, because we know what we got season 1. Seeing his foot CGI here lessens the impact of it, if that makes any sense. And I saw niggas saying that they used the cap cut effect for his kick, and they damn sure did. I actually used this for, it was an old ass video when I was doing how anime characters would shoot a fucking basketball, and I did this same effect for Shinra. When I make my like actual season 2 review at the end of the season, obviously I'm gonna revisit like the statements I'm making here and shit like that. And maybe again, this is all to just like save money. And if that's the case, are we saving money for this animation studio or for the entire government of Japan? Because it seems like we're trying to save a lot of it, and maybe a little too much. I don't know. Maybe I'm just hating. I might just be hating. And it's like every single thing is there but the fluidity of the animation that we got in season 1, which is what leads me to like have that faith and believe that shit is going to be more 2D and hand drawn for that last part of the season, just because of how crazy that match is supposed to be. But even the shot that this reptilian takes here, the visuals were nasty, and it looked like they kind of colored the manga panel, which I'm sure this was like 1-for-1 what the manga panel looked like. But with the colors and everything, the shit looked fucking nasty. But no, so then we have the Leaf Ninja with the leaf strand in his hair, Naruto running across the field. His movement was smooth because this brief burst that he had right back into the PowerPoint presentation, like doing it like that shit was kind of hard. I'm not even gonna lie, like that shit was hard. I feel like the cardboard cutouts were used like correctly here, because it just showed how fast the nigga got behind Rin, and it was kind of like exaggerating his speed, which I like for this scene specifically. You see, and I think where my sanity started to slip was right after this cool little ninja like blow by, and they actually had a PowerPoint transition in the show. And the thing is, like really, like the thing is, I'm looking at this scene right now, and they just put this PowerPoint slide in here just be like, there was actually no reason to do it, because Hiyori's narrating the shit and he's only talking about how Karasu got Ninja the ball, and it's like they just added PowerPoint transition number 7 in here to punch us in our fucking mutt. Because why was that there? I just don't, we just saw this scene, like I don't understand. And it's like, you could call this shit complaining, I'm calling it holding accountability, nigga. Like, we gotta stop being so prancing around like the problem, in my opinion. Like, if something is an issue, I feel like it should just be talked about. Like, I don't know if they put all of their time and effort into the artwork where they needed to purchase Microsoft Office and incorporate that into the show to save them some time. I don't know, but that seems to be the case here. And I saw people in the comments, my video and just of the episode in general, just talking about how just bogus, like something about like watching the anime for animation and you should be watching it for the story. I mean, what are we talking about? No, what are we saying? So am I gonna read the manga for animation? If that's the case, like, I'm confused here. I feel like the whole concept of anime is to see the panels moving on the fucking screen. But now I'm watching the anime of Blue Lock and the panels aren't moving on my screen. They're colored in and they look beautifully colored, and everything visually about the show is nice, like it has a good look to it, but the anime part of it is not like present. So like, I just don't understand the thought process behind some people. I'm not gonna like talk deeply about that, but I just find that to be like silly. And there are just so many scenes here that had so much fucking potential, nigga, and it's like, it pisses me off because this Rin scene here where he opens his Byakugan and he just love taps the ball to the right and gives that shit immaculate curve. That shit was right curved like something else, and I'm not saying what, but that was a dirty ass shot. Like, that was probably one of the nicer scenes that they had, because that seemed like season 1-esque. But again, it's just missing that season 1 flair. But I think what this shit is missing at the moment, next to that animation, I feel like they kind of play hand in hand, is that intensity, that pace to it. They don't feel like they're playing with that pace. And it's like, even if you look at real football, like, it's not like the niggas are running slow on that field. Like, when they're moving, and when they're doing moves, you could like feel it, you know what I'm saying? But I don't feel it here, because it feels like all of these niggas can blow away with the wind. Even as I'm sitting here right now, I feel like this was probably the most movement we've gotten all season so far, when Chigiri speed blitzed. And we know how Chigiri speed blitzes go. Look back to his, I think it was his first speed blitz when he broke free from his shackles. How fast that nigga was sprinting in that scene. Just like the bass that was in your ear, and just like the nigga was gone like a jet. And I'm not saying this was a bad scene by any means. And I think the use of CGI here wasn't even that bad because it was his first 2 steps. And we see him blitz with the smoke screen behind him, but then he just comes onto the screen with the anime lines to like mimic that movement, which we're not getting. I really do feel like, at least how I view myself, like I don't view myself as a complainer. I really don't. Like I will critique what I have my opinions on, and I have my opinions, but like I don't think I'm the type of nigga to like complain. And even if I am complaining, I feel like I try to see the good in like a flawed product, or like something that's bad. Like I always try to find a plus in it, even if I am complaining about the whole shit. Like even with Tower of God, I was still saying maybe deeper into the season shit will improve, and I haven't watched it, so I cannot give a valid opinion on that. I'm just going off the first couple episodes. But like with this, it's like for every scene almost, it's like they started with movement and then ended with them freeze framed just moving off the screen. But it's like Tower of God is one thing, but I'm gonna be honest, at least those niggas were moving. At least those niggas were moving. And it's like, I know for a fact Tower of God does not have a bigger budget than Blue Lock. There's no way. There's no way on earth. So why does it look like the playback speed on this shit is at 25% at all times, but niggas are still having full-blown conversations during it? And I don't care if the U20 game is the best anime sequence of the modern day. For a sports anime, it shouldn't feel this slow. It shouldn't. That's the problem, because I feel like for this practice match, there was a lot of good scenes. While they were good, and in the moment still kind of hyped me up, it was not Blue Lock season 1 hyping up, because look at Rin talking a right angle here. And look at this cut to Isagi. This is the promo. This is the promo for season 2. And look at these weak ass scissor slices from right angle, man. Like that shit is cookies. And I go to church from time to time. I think I might have to include Blue Lock in my prayers, just because this is like abysmal. But it's just like, as a fan of a certain show, you want to see it succeed, right? And it's like, I still to this day, and I know niggas were like commenting it in my Tower of God video, I don't know to this day why or how shit like this happens. Because it's not even just with anime, it's just with like everything. It's like everything seems to be like money involved, and it's not for the love of the game. You know, it's like, it just seems like they have niggas on here who just like are showing up to their job, clocking in, and then trying to clock out. And I'm not saying the animators specifically, but maybe the people like directing it. Like I don't know how to put it into words, because I can't say that like people weren't trying on this, but like as a finished product, comparing it to what you put out previously, you know that there are certain downgrades in very important avenues that like just don't make sense. In terms of manga sales, like the shit speaks for itself. Like it was on top of the fucking world, because I know the money that they made from season 1 and just this story altogether exceeded expectations, because the World Cup inflated those numbers to fucking space. And if I had the money to do so, I would definitely put money down on the fact that I feel like in the next 10 to 20 years, the Japan soccer scene is just going to boom even more, and there are going to be real life Isagis and Nagis and Baros coming out of the fucking woodworks over there. And it's like, you think Japan's team made a fucking run in 2022, they're going to be battling for the World Cup in 10 to 20 years, just because of like how influential this series is going to be on the youth. It was already influential on the culture, and you saw that like those niggas were really like the way those niggas were playing in 2022. Like that was the first World Cup I tuned into, and that shit just didn't make sense to me. Like they were so locked the fuck in, and they're only going to get better. Like there's going to be a dad over there who played soccer in his youth but never really took it far, and he's going to have a kid and he's going to name him Misaki. That's just like the type of show that this was and is. And just the fact that like we're sitting here and we can't get a nigga kicking a ball right, I mean, that just, it's upsetting. This is an intermission. I'm sitting here edited, looking at this diagram. It's a diagram at this point. This is not even the show anymore, bro. I'm looking at Rin kick this ball without moving, and I just realized the ball doesn't even have rotation. The ball doesn't even have rotation. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I've never seen anything this bad. I saw it on Twitter. There's the big 3 of anime, Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, and then there's the big 3 of bad animation, being Boruto, 7 Deadly, and Blue Lock season 2. Genuine question, for the people that are like, it looks fine, whatever, I'll give it to you. Explain this. Explain to me why the ball couldn't even have a 180 rotation when it went from Rin's inactive foot to Isagi's brother's inactive movement. Why couldn't the ball at least rotate? I promise you, if there is anything from this season that I could animate myself, it is this. Because I damn near did it earlier in this video. And my next question is it snowing in the facility or something? Because they're like, not only are they spamming slow-mo, but they're spamming this snow particle effect for every single scene ever. But that was just my interruption. let me go back to what I was saying. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I've watched a lot of shows. Like there's always movement in shows. I've never watched a show with no movement. I've never watched it. If usually when they're like trying to cut corners, it'll be movement, but at least it's CGI movement. I've never seen a show with no movement. And like we got some movement at the end, everyone's running, and we see Isagi breaking through his puzzle pieces, and this was a good scene. This is why I have faith, because Hiyori almost tears the fuck out of Shigeru's ACL again, because that nigga's getting way too excited with his speed. And he's about to receive the pass. We see Isagi with his puzzle piece Sharingan, and I'll give it to them. Even though this was a CGI foot, I felt the impact of it. I did. That shit was hard with the stink bomb on the floor. It was. And then him blitzing forward, even though it was just a still image coming at us, that shit was hard. And then his foot catching this, see, just these little details, was super clean. And that's not to say that the shot wasn't nice, but we know damn well if this was season 1, with how this kick is so hard, is bending the fucking structure of the ball, we would have probably gotten another angle of this, either from the front, or even if it was this back shot, there would have been like a flash on the screen or something, and the ball would have shot into the fucking goal faster or something. It's like they're just spamming slow-mo for some reason. I just don't get it. I don't understand. And to make matters worse, Shido just starts getting sexual with Isagi, talking about, I could feel your cells giving off sparks. I might come to like your explosion. Yeah, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? But like, shit, man. And then we had Rain in the background hating, talking about, you don't even know how to break down what you did, nigga, your ass. So we have a hater and a reptile on this fucking team right now. And thank goodness they showed Henri at the end of that episode, because I was on the verge of spontaneously combusting. I was really like on my last wits with it. But no, that aside, you know that one meme, I guess it's a gif, I don't know, where it's just like that one guy walking through the snow and he's lost. That's how I feel right now. That's how I feel watching this show, because it's like, I don't know which direction we're going. I don't know where this shit's gonna end up, because it's like, there's part of me, and I think it's like evident in the reactions too, like there's part of me that like really does enjoy the artwork, and while it's missing the season 1 flair, it has a lot of extra flair in its own way, with the anime lines and with the very vibrant colors. Like, they could use anime lines as much as they have been. I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. I'm just saying the PNG files of these niggas drifting across my screen is the problem. Like, I feel like I'm just talking shit, but I genuinely have been enjoying season 2 for what it is. It's just very, very upsetting, because I'll say it right now, even though there's a lack of movement, if we get like beyond first half of season 1, like similar to how that Bachido scene was in the very first episode of the show, like where it was just like straight movement, nigga was moving like butter. Like, if we're getting movement like that for some scenes in this game, like, I can't sit here and complain about what we're getting right now, because I'd be thoroughly surprised and impressed. You may hear me coming back to this review whenever this season ends singing gospel. I would be ecstatic if that was the case with the art style that we have now and the improvements that they've made. But yeah, so I mean, that's really all I got. I just wanted to rant about this. I was just very conflicted, because I've seen, like, looking at like the Chigiri scene, the Isagi scene, the Shido scene, the Rin scene, like there were certain scenes where it's like it felt like that normal Blue Lock that we all like appreciate, I guess you could say. But even with that, like the shit was kind of soft. Like I didn't feel that pounding in my chest. Like when the niggas used to be scoring goals, like it felt like a punch in my face, but it was sort of like a Goku getting punched in the face. Oh, this is interesting, I'm excited now type of punch. This feels like Charmin Ultra Soft on my booty hole. And while it's like, yes, I love Charmin Ultra Soft, it's also accompanied with massive amounts of shit, which is not a good thing. That stinks. So, season so far, I'd give like a 7, genuine 7. And I think I'm just gonna ride it out, have faith in it. I know I was like jibber jabbering a lot in this video and complaining, but I was just getting my frustrations out, and I felt like it would be fun to do it on video. So that's that. Thorfinn light skin video gonna be coming out early next week. And sub to the gaming channel. I'm gonna try and get some Sparking Zero out on there, and follow me on Twitch. I plan on doing some reactions and just more activities, like maybe like take the anime opening tournaments to Twitch and stuff like that, and just doing it on there, because I feel like that would be a bit more fun with like a live thing going. But Blue Lock Changes You Part 3 will be coming out at the end of the season, and we'll see where we're at then. But without further ado, on to the next one. And yeah, that's it.